Somewhere along the way, we were told we needed to be remarkable to matter, that a life worth living had to sparkle, impress, and turn heads. But what if being impressive is not the same as being fulfilled? What if trying to stand out has only made you feel more invisible? There's a pressure today to be extraordinary, even when all you want is peace. You scroll past people climbing mountains, launching startups, writing books before breakfast, and suddenly, making coffee in your pajamas feels like failure. You begin to doubt the softness of your own pace. You wonder if your life is too quiet, too plain, too boring. But boring is only a word we've learned to fear. It's a label invented by a world obsessed with performance. You are not boring. You are breathing. You are being. Quietness of your day is not a lack. It's a rhythm. Stillness that holds more meaning than you know. Somewhere, someone is rushing through life just to arrive where you already are. But we've been conditioned to chase applause, not alignment. We post highlights. We filter truth. We turn our lives into presentations. And in the process, we forget how to simply exist. We forget that a slow morning is a sacred thing. That making tea, folding clothes, watering plants. These are quiet ceremonies of care. You don't need to be seen to be valuable. You don't need to be talked about to be worth listening to. Not all beauty shouts. Some of it just quietly stays. There's courage in choosing not to compete, in letting others race ahead while you stay grounded. The world may call it boring, but you know it's peace. You're allowed to live a life that doesn't impress anyone but feels good to you. That doesn't look grand on paper, but feels whole in your heart. Maybe success isn't becoming someone remarkable. Maybe it's remembering how to just be. Being enough without needing to prove anything. Being soft in a world that rewards sharp edges. Being still while others rush. You don't need a TED Talk, a six-pack, or a passport full of stamps. You don't need a brand, a personal mission, or a 10-step morning routine. You don't need to become content. You already are. Life is not a resume. It's a series of ordinary days. And the courage is in showing up for them. There's a quiet bravery in choosing presence over popularity, and saying this is enough, even when the world says more. We underestimate the strength it takes to stop chasing, to look around and see that you're okay right here. That your ordinary day is not a failure, but a poem. One the world may not read, but you will live. There's a peace in letting go of the need to sparkle. A freedom in saying, I don't have to be impressive to be enough. That truth alone is a quiet revolution. And it starts with one gentle breath, one honest moment, one simple day lived well. Maybe boring isn't boring. Maybe boring is sacred. A morning without urgency, a night without noise, a walk without purpose, day without drama. Well, this is what healing can look like. Unremarkable from the outside, life-giving on the inside. And that's more than okay. That's enough. So if today feels small, soft, and slow, don't rush to change it. Maybe that's exactly where your soul wants to rest. Maybe your quiet life is the most courageous thing of all. The world may never clap for your stillness, but your nervous system will. Your heart will. Your future self will. You've done enough. You are enough. And boring? Boring is beautiful. It means you've stopped trying to impress people who aren't even paying attention. It means you've started living for something deeper than praise, something quieter than applause, something real. So no, you don't need to be dazzling. You just need to be honest, present, true. There's a quiet power in staying small on purpose, in being happy to be unseen, because when you stop trying to be extraordinary, life becomes enough again. You become enough again. There's no race to win, no audience to please. Just a breath and another. Life lived slowly, fully, gently. The world will keep spinning, but you don't have to spin with it. You can sit still and watch and smile and know. This quiet moment matters, even if no one sees it. Even if it's boring. Especially if it's boring. You are not a performance. You are a person. And that's always enough. From childhood, we're told to shine, to stand out, to be the best. It sounds harmless, even encouraging. But beneath it grows a quiet fear. What if I'm not extraordinary? What if I'm just regular? We start believing that ordinary is a flaw, that our worth is tied to our uniqueness. We chase moments that feel big and overlook the ones that keep us whole. But here's the truth. You don't have to be special to be loved. You don't have to be fascinating to be worthy. The need to be impressive is a heavy mask. It keeps you performing when all you want is to rest. It tells you to hustle when your soul longs for quiet. The world profits from your insecurity. It sells you dreams of greatness, framed in urgency. Start now, it whispers, or you'll fall behind. But behind what? And behind whom? We've mistaken performance for purpose, mistaken loudness for meaning. But the most real moments in life often go unnoticed. A hand held in silence, laugh with no audience, a meal made just for you. There's no spotlight on those moments, just truth. Real life doesn't come with applause, but it comes with presence. And presence doesn't need an audience. Somewhere along the way, you were made to feel replaceable, as if your worth depended on how interesting you were, as if being average was something to fear. But you are not average. You're specific. There is no one living your exact life, no one holding your precise collection of memories, dreams, regrets, and tenderness. That's not boring. That's miraculous. It's not that you need to shine brighter. You just need to stop dimming yourself for the wrong reasons. You don't need to be different to be enough. You already are. What if the pursuit of greatness is stealing your peace? What if being remarkable is just exhausting? It's okay to want more. It's also okay to stop, to let go of the hunger for recognition. You don't have to be a firework. Candle is enough. Steady, quiet, necessary. Boring isn't lifeless. It's sustainable. It's what keeps you from burning out. Not every chapter has to be climactic. Some can just be restful. That doesn't make your story dull. It makes it human. We're not here to be impressive machines. We're here to be soft, real, present beings. Some of the most beautiful people you know aren't flashy. They're just kind, just consistent, just there. And that just holds more than we think. You don't need to win the room. You just need to be someone who shows up, who listens, who breathes. The myth of being special keeps us from seeing how rare it already is to be alive. We romanticize fame. We forget the beauty of being known by just a few, of laughing at the same old jokes, of being loved for no reason other than that you exist. What's boring to the world might be sacred to you. A routine that keeps your mind from spiraling. Slow afternoon that feels like home. These are not failures. These are anchors. Don't trade them for noise. Don't abandon peace to chase applause. You don't have to be someone to be somebody. You're allowed to be tired of chasing. You're allowed to come home to yourself. No one gets to decide your worth by how exciting your life looks. Excitement is fleeting. Wholeness stays. You are enough without being dazzling. You are enough in your slow days, your quiet thoughts, your simple meals. You are enough when no one is watching, especially then. Let that sink in. The myth says, be more, but your soul says, just be, and that is enough. You don't need to be interesting. You need to be interested in life, in people, in the present. That's what fills you. Not validation, not image, not noise. You've been carrying the weight of being impressive for too long. You can set it down now. You can rest. You don't have to be a story worth telling. You just have to be a life worth living, for you. And even in the quietest seasons, you are doing just that. Quiet isn't failure. Boring isn't wrong. Softness is strength. Simplicity is beauty. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are already enough, even when you feel boring. Sometimes you look around and wonder if you're doing enough. You see others chasing, achieving, shining, and feel like you're standing still. It's easy to mistake stillness for stagnation, but not all growth is loud. Some of the deepest healing happens in silence. Some of the strongest roots grow in the dark. There is nothing wrong with not being seen, not being loud, not being admired. There's a quiet kind of strength in continuing anyway. In getting up, making breakfast, taking a walk, even when no one applauds. You don't need to broadcast your value. It lives in you, whether or not the world notices. But our culture rarely celebrates the quiet path. We reward noise. We equate visibility with importance. But some of the most meaningful things on earth live quietly. The moon. The roots beneath a forest. A mother's patience. A friend's silent presence. Just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not powerful. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just not rushing. Maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you're resting. There's courage in doing less when the world tells you to do more. There's rebellion in protecting your peace. Some days will feel boring. Some days will feel like nothing moved forward. That's okay. Life doesn't always need to be optimized. You're not a machine. Your value isn't in your output. It's in your being. It's in your breath, in your care, in your presence. Even if the only thing you did today was exist, that matters. There's beauty in the ordinary. Sometimes it takes a long time to believe that, because we've been taught to associate quiet with emptiness. But quiet can be fullness. The fullness of peace. The fullness of being home in yourself. The fullness of not needing to explain who you are. You're allowed to be unremarkable in the eyes of the world. You're allowed to live a life that doesn't go viral. You're allowed to be boring and still matter deeply. What looks boring from the outside may feel safe on the inside, and safety is sacred. You are not a brand. You're not a product. You're not here to be consumed. You're here to be. And being doesn't always look exciting. Sometimes it's folding laundry, watering plants, taking care of a sick pet, calling your mother, making tea. And these things, while quiet, are not meaningless. They hold the fabric of life together. They're soft and they're true. If your life feels small, remember this. Small does not mean insignificant. A small candle still gives light. A small gesture can change a day. A quiet life can be full of meaning. But only if you allow yourself to see it that way. Don't wait for the world to validate your worth. It may never come. But your worth was never theirs to measure. It's measured in how you love, how you listen, how you care, in the space you hold for yourself and for others. You don't need to impress, just connect. And sometimes connection happens in stillness. In the quiet space between moments, that space is not empty, it's sacred. The pressure to be more is relentless, but more isn't always better. Sometimes, more just means more noise, more exhaustion, more pretending, and you've already done enough pretending. You've already spent too long trying to be impressive. What if you just let go? What if you allowed yourself to be ordinary and okay with it? You might find a kind of freedom there. The freedom to not prove anything. The freedom to be real, not remarkable. Real is always enough. Let others chase sparkle. You can chase peace. Let them build castles in the sky. You can build a home in your soul. Let them shout. You can whisper and still be heard. You don't have to dazzle, just exist, fully, quietly. Honestly, that's not failure. That's courage. You scroll through your feed and see people shining. Promotions, vacations, milestones, makeovers. Looks like everyone else is living a life far more exciting than yours. Part of you wonders, what am I doing wrong? But you're not seeing life. You're seeing highlights. Carefully curated moments stitched together to look effortless. Real life isn't a montage. It's long pauses, slow mornings, dishes in the sink. It's arguments that don't get posted. It's quiet loneliness behind smiling photos. You're not boring. You're just honest. You're living the full, unfiltered story, and that story includes repetition. It includes days that blur together. It includes not knowing what comes next. That's not failure. It's life. But we've been conditioned to chase applause. Think something only matters if it's seen, if it gets likes, if it can be shared. But the most meaningful moments often can't be captured. They don't photograph well. No one claps for brushing your teeth or choosing kindness, but those things shape who you are. A quiet life is still a real life. It's not a draft waiting to be edited. It doesn't need special effects. You don't have to turn it into content to make it count. You can let your moments stay small. Let your joys be private. Let your peace be yours alone. You don't need to brand your healing or caption your growth. You're allowed to live unannounced. Not everything has to be seen to be sacred. You can laugh without posting it. You can cry without explaining why. You can change your life quietly. Not all revolutions make noise. Sometimes healing sounds like silence. Sometimes growth looks like staying in. It's okay to live a life that doesn't go viral, that doesn't trend, that doesn't need a comment section to feel real. If your life feels simple, let it be simple. If it feels still, let it be still. You don't have to manufacture meaning. You just have to notice it. In the little things. In the way sunlight hits your floor. In the sound of someone you love breathing nearby. In the quiet satisfaction of finishing a good book. Or folding clothes and feeling the warmth of fabric. These are not boring. They're beautiful, but our attention-starved minds miss them. We think only the grand matters, but the grand is rare, and the ordinary is constant. If you only find joy in the extraordinary, you will live a life of waiting. But if you find joy in the ordinary, you will live a life of wonder. Let the ordinary astonish you. Let the quiet nourish you. You are not made to perform. You are made to be, even when you're not achieving.
Nice.
Even when you're not improving.
Nice.
Even when all you did today was breathe and try. That's enough. Some of the most important people live in obscurity. They never make headlines. But they change lives through steady kindness, through presence, through patience. And that's you too. You don't have to go viral to be valuable. You don't have to stand out to stand tall. Sometimes the bravest thing is to keep going without recognition. To keep loving when no one thanks you. To keep showing up for a life no one else sees. That's not boring. That's heroic. So when you doubt your worth, remember this. There is courage in consistency, strength in softness, power in quiet presence. The world may never give you a trophy for simply existing, but your soul knows. It's more than enough. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to be exceptional. You don't need to be admired. You just need to be you, the real you, the gentle you, the you that wakes up and tries again, that keeps going even when no one is watching, that finds meaning in the mundane, that forgives yourself on the hard days, trusts that small lives can still be full ones, and that a quiet path can still lead to a beautiful destination. The world moves fast, but you don't have to. You are not a machine. You don't need to optimize every hour. Some days are meant for resting. Some seasons are meant for wandering. You're allowed to be unsure, to change your mind, to not know what's next. It doesn't make you lost. It makes you human. Slowness is not laziness. Stillness is not weakness. There is wisdom in waiting, in observing before acting, in listening before speaking. Life isn't a race. There is no finish line, no gold medal for exhaustion, no award for burnout. You don't win by being busiest. You don't lose by taking your time. The best moments often happen when you're not rushing, when you pause to look up. When you sit with your thoughts, instead of fleeing them, you don't have to keep up with anyone else. Your journey isn't yours. Their timeline isn't your deadline. You can grow slow. You can heal slow. You can build a life at your own pace. There's nothing wrong with moving gently or needing time to unfold. Flowers don't bloom all at once, neither do people. They're blooming quietly in ways no one else can see, and that's okay. Your progress doesn't need to be obvious to be real. You're not behind. You're becoming. Some chapters are quiet because they're building you, not showcasing you. This isn't your peak, it's your planting season. Roots grow before branches do. And the deeper your roots, the stronger you become. But no one applauds roots. They're invisible, underground, unglamorous, but essential. So don't be ashamed if you feel hidden or unseen. You might just be growing something sacred. Growth often feels like nothing is happening, till one day everything blossoms. You are allowed to take your time, to be a slow story, to unfold in quiet ways. The world is loud, but your path doesn't have to be. Some lives are meant to be whispered, not shouted. You don't need to broadcast your becoming. Let it be a soft emergence, like dawn breaking, like snow melting, like trust rebuilding itself. These things take time, and you do too. Don't rush to be seen. Don't force the next chapter. The right things arrive when you're ready, not when you panic, not when you compare. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You already have it. Even when you're not producing, even when you're not improving. Your value is not a project. It's not something you earn, something you remember. So take a breath. Let yourself rest. You are not failing by going slow. You are honoring your rhythm. The world will still be here when you're ready, and you will arrive with more peace, not more pressure. Slower pace doesn't mean a smaller life. It means a more intentional one. It means you get to feel things as they happen, to not miss the details. To actually be present for your own story. You don't have to rush to be enough. You don't have to hurry to matter. Your presence is already a gift. Even when you're still finding your way, even when you're not making headlines, even when your only accomplishment is making it through the day, that's enough. You are enough. Not when you speed up, not when you finally figure it out. Right now, exactly as you are. There is a quiet kind of bravery that never gets celebrated. The bravery of showing up to a life that no one claps for, of doing your best when no one is watching, of choosing peace over performance. You don't need to reinvent the world to be worthy of it. You don't need to make headlines to have meaning. The world tries to convince you otherwise, that you have to be dazzling, that you have to stand out. But sometimes the most radiant thing is a person at peace. Someone who is not striving to be more, but settling gently into who they already are. We are taught to chase greatness. But what if contentment is its own kind of greatness? What if ordinary is not failure, but freedom? Think of how deeply beautiful an ordinary day can be. Morning light on your skin, warm tea in silence, a walk with no destination, a book that doesn't demand anything from you, the sound of someone you love breathing beside you. These aren't grand moments, but they're the ones that stay. And still, we fear being boring. We fear being overlooked. We fear being forgettable. So we perform. We exaggerate. We overextend. We become versions of ourselves that look better on paper, but feel hollow when we lie awake at night. What if the people who matter most will never ask you to impress them? What if they just want your presence, your honesty, your laugh, your flaws, your quiet? You don't have to be impressive to be deeply loved. You just have to be real. There's courage in choosing a simple life. In saying no to pressure and yes to peace. In doing work that's meaningful, even if it's not flashy. In being kind when no one's keeping score. In building a small life with great care. You don't have to make it to matter. You don't need followers, promotions, or praise. You can live softly and still live fully. The world tells you to rise, 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 but there is strength in staying grounded, in tending to your roots, in finding richness, not in recognition, but in presence. An ordinary life is not a punishment. It is a gift most people overlook while chasing more. It is not a failure to love what is near, or to build slowly and quietly, or to live out of sight, but in alignment. You don't need to brand yourself to be real. You don't need to market your soul. There's nothing wrong with just being, just breathing, just existing in this exact soft moment. The world will never teach you how to rest. It will teach you how to perform. It will train you to chase, to compare, to always be upgrading. But you can resist. You can step back. You can be the one who says enough, enough noise, enough pressure, enough pretending. You are not a brand, you are a soul. You are allowed to live like one. The goal isn't to be liked. The goal is to be whole. The goal isn't to win. The goal is to belong to yourself. So take off the costume. Let go of the act. You don't have to be dazzling. You don't have to be remarkable. You are allowed to be gentle, to be slow, to be ordinary, still be precious beyond words. The people who truly see you won't ask for sparkle. They will love your quiet, your depth, your stillness. You don't have to fight to be seen. You don't have to shout to be valid. Being here is enough. You, as you are enough, even if no one notices. Even if it feels small, even if the world keeps racing past you, you can stay still. You can be boring and still be brave. Somewhere along the way, life became a performance. Not just what we do, but who we are. Curated, edited, shared. The pressure to be interesting turned into pressure to be someone else. And that's exhausting. To always be on. To always have a story to tell, a milestone to share, a globe to prove your worth. But you were never meant to be a show. You are not a product. You are not a timeline. You are not someone's highlight reel. You are allowed to be boring. Deeply, beautifully, wonderfully boring. To live a life that no one claps for, but feels right in your bones. To wake up and not reinvent yourself every morning. To eat the same breakfast. walk the same streets, say I'm fine, and mean it. There is a quiet kind of dignity in the mundane. The way the sky doesn't apologize for being blue every day. The way trees stand without trying to impress. They just are, and they are enough. You don't need more sparkle to matter. You don't need more noise to feel alive. You can let your life be simple. You can let your days be slow. Even beautiful things repeat themselves. The tide, the breath, the sun. Your life doesn't have to constantly escalate to have value. You're not a stock, you're not a project, you're a person. And people are allowed to stay the same for a while. To stop chasing and start resting. To grow inward instead of upward. To live in depth, not height. Boring is not failure. It's often a sign of healing, of stability, of safety. No longer addicted to chaos. No longer hustling for validation. No longer needing to be the most anything. Sometimes boring is the first breath after survival. The long exhale. The soft re-entry into yourself. You're not broken for slowing down. You are not behind for needing quiet. The people who care about you will understand. They'll love the unpolished version, the unfiltered hours, the plain truth of your presence. Because the people who stay don't need a performance. They need your humanness. They need your stillness. Need your ordinary. You don't need to be impressive to be loved. You don't need to be interesting to be worthy. You don't need to be doing something big to be okay. Just breathe. Just live. The miracle is that you're here at all, that in this moment you exist, that you are breathing in a world that rushes past itself. Maybe boredom is just your soul asking for presence, for pause, for truth. Maybe the most revolutionary thing you can do is choose to be still, choose to be soft, choose to be whole. You don't need to be celebrated to be complete. Don't need an audience to be alive. You just need permission from yourself to not have all the answers, to not always be growing, to not always be striving, to just be. You are allowed to love your life, even if no one claps, even if no one notices, even if it's quiet and small and unseen. You are enough in the stillness. You are enough in the repetition. You are enough in the invisible days. There is courage in choosing peace over performance. There is bravery in not needing to shine. There is strength in being gentle. You don't need to be remarkable to be real. You don't need to be extraordinary to be whole. Your life doesn't have to be a spectacle. It just has to be yours. The real you. The quiet you. The ordinary, imperfect, human you. That's the you the world truly needs. That's the you you've been running from. That's the you that is already finally enough. Even when you're boring. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.